It's like, let's get this thing going immediately. First ban coming in from Dynamic is Galio. So it's sometimes, an early Galio ban can indicate that they want to go for someone very high damage, very bursty in mid lane, and Galio counters out a lot of those big burst champions, champions like LeBlanc.
Yeah, he also counters out a lot of short-range ADs, so
yeah.
Just the potential to just jump on an AD like Vayne or something. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and check, because I can't remember the last time I've seen Nijaki play Galio. I don't know if that's really a common champion in his repertoire or if it's something he's been working on recently. But regardless, it is a very strong champion in a number of comps, so I'm assuming that Nijaki has been playing it a lot recently. We do ban out Riven and Vladimir, so Curse, they don't want Po out there playing Vladimir. They're gonna ban it from themselves, and the Shin ban for Team Dynamic. All really solid picks and bans. Yeah, well, we saw Legion yesterday go on with the Riven pick, and actually did really well top lane against Vladimir. Unfortunately, bottom lane. Bottom lane, however, did not perform as up to par as the Riven top lane did, but Riven still quite a monster top lane, still a beast in the jungle, very good all-around champ. And you also have got a lot of APs banned out here from Curse as well. You got the Vladimir, who can sustain really well. Kennen, absolute monsters. We saw again earlier today with the clg.na. And then Darius is a soft ban. Dynamic. Darius is a soft ban. Just keeping it, just putting that out there. There we go. No, I think we're good. But we do see Nocturne, and so Nocturne is one of those junglers that we kind of expected, Curse to try and get. Yep. And, he's already one of the strongest junglers in the game, but he's someone that can very easily fill in with the new comp, and he doesn't have to worry that much about his positioning. He can just ult in somewhere. If a lane's like, hey, I need a gank, he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm Nocturne. I'll just be there in a second. Yep. And it is one of those kind of champions that Saint is well known for playing. So. Will work out pretty nicely. They do get the Soraka as well. Urgot is going to be going bottom. We have seen Zion Spartan play Urgot a couple of times, and with a tanky kind of lineup, he's just such a strong early and mid-game champion. Can just completely destroy a lot of teams, and having that cooldown reduction quickly with the Brutalizer and with the Frozen Heart, being so tanky early on, it's such an incredible combination. He's a really strong champion right now. But we do have the possibility for Corki as well. We got a high amount of burst. We also have the sustain coming in from Soraka. All the infused mana going to be able to just fire off missiles all day long when we hit 6. And it's Urgot Corki, because Corki does deal quite a bit of damage. He does have that armor shred. He does have that true damage also available to him. It's gonna be a pretty rough matchup. But we've been seeing bot lane a lot of those long distance champs. You got the Urgot, you got the Kog'Maw. We've been seeing the Varus quite a bit as well, and we may actually see Olaf being taken for Curse away from Dynamic. And it's interesting, if you look at the team right now, we've seen this lineup a couple of times before. I'm trying to remember who was in the rest of the lineup. And so Galio makes sense as that ban. Rise is definitely going to be a strong champion. So Galio, they have, oh wow, are we sending Varus top? That might actually be what we're doing, but so here's the issue. We have a very short range team for Dynamic, so Galio would kind of counter that out, have that disruption, but we have a triple shield team, so yes. Lee Sin, Janna, and Urgot. Urgot is going to be so incredibly tanky down bottom. Early on, he can just line up against anyone, and then, okay, so we're going to maybe switch it up. I would definitely enjoy seeing the Varus top. That would be a lot of fun, but regardless, we have this tanky core team. Rise is just going to be dealing so much magic damage, and with those double shields, it's going to be so difficult to take anyone down from Dynamic. It's going to be a really tough comp to kill. Soraka would definitely work out very well with them, but Janna works just as well. And then Jax. So there we go. Jax. Yeah, we have seen Jax and Lee Sin as a combo is a really nice combo to have as the top end jungler. Works out so well. You can two-man Baron, just Jax and Lee Sin. They can just do it all by themselves and hold hands and have fun. But
the Super Bros, Super Bros.
So I mean, late game they have the mid game. They're just going to be so tanky, and late game they've definitely had the disruption from Jax. On the other hand, from Curse, we've seen a lot of Morgana from Nijaki. He's definitely really strong in that role. All around solid champions. So we'll have to see how it works out for them. A little bit more of a standard comp. Olaf versus Jax top is kind of an interesting matchup. So
Olaf, he does pretty well with the damage early, and it can be an even trading lane. Olaf does have the sustain advantage early. He has the regen while Jax doesn't. But the issue is, as the lane progresses, if Olaf is sitting there trying to trade damage with Jax, very quickly Jax can trade and deal even more damage. So just right up front, head-to-head, Jax can pounce on him, use the dodge, use the stun, just get off nice chunks of Olaf's health. And if he gets off to an early advantage, he can shut down Olaf. But Olaf does do very well early on and has a lot of kill potential throughout and does scale very well late. So it is a pretty common matchup seeing that Jax versus Olaf pick.
But also the synergy with Jax and Lee Sin. I mean, we've seen this. We saw this before. Moscow 5 using the same as I've said before. I call them the Super Bros because they work so well together. And Jax and Lee Sin together work really well at grabbing objectives like Dragon and Baron together. And we've seen this from Dynamic quite often, where a lot of their playstyle centers around going for early Barons. If we see Wriggles on both Lee Sin and on Jax, we can see them take down Baron stupidly fast. I wanted to say ridiculously, and I started to say stupid, so it's stupidly fast.
Yeah, and it's not very common to see Jax take a Wriggles anymore, but he does have plenty of damage output even without the Wriggles, and Lee Sin as well. It's really just how tanky they are and how much damage Jax has regardless of his items. And so you see a lot of like Triforce and against Olaf, I'm curious how we'll see him build. If he gets the Triforce or an early Sheen, then he can trade damage a little bit faster, shut down Olaf that way. If he gets a little bit of regen, he could go for a fast Cuirass or Cutlass into a Gunblade or something, but maybe not even finish it early. So there's really a lot of options for him. He's probably going to want to get some early armor to kind of negate some of Olaf's damage. And one of the issues with Olaf versus Jax, and one of the reasons why Olaf works so well, Jax early on, he doesn't really have a large health pool, and that's a lot of it has to do with the passive changes, but he does have really large armor and magic resist. Jax's ultimate, it gives him a nice little boost there, makes him a much better dueler. Well, Olaf true damage is the hard counter to armor and magic resist. True damage doesn't work very well against HP, though. So early on, when Jax doesn't have a lot of HP, he just has that armor and magic resist, Olaf can trade damage very well. Later on in the game, when Olaf starts to build a lot of tanky items, we've seen a lot of builds with like the Triforce into the Warmogs. That's going to be really difficult for a character like Olaf to take Jax down when he gets that tanky. But regardless, it is a pretty even matchup. We have a lot of aggression with Nocturne and with Morgana. They can pick up some kills. Soraka and Corki is a really strong lane with that spam ability, and you have to consider the armor from Soraka counters out Urgot pretty well. And so we have the burst from Corki to drop the shield on Urgot. We have the armor from Soraka. It's going to be difficult for Urgot to get enough damage done to harass Corki. Though, one interesting thing about Soraka, or Janna and Urgot's shields, I need to check this, but I'm fairly certain the way that the shields work, because both of their shields, they have abilities that disappear when the shield's gone. You get rid of the Janna shield, you lose the AD. You get rid of the Urgot shield, you lose the slow. The shields actually stack on each other, not just in HP-wise, but for their effects. So you need to kill both shields before you lose either of the effects. So against Urgot, one of the things is, okay, well, you burst down his shield, now he loses the slow. Against Janna, you burst down the shield, now you lose the AD. When you have the double shield, it's that much more difficult to burst down the shield. They will still have both of the effects. And so that's why the Urgot and Janna make such a strong combo. Also, the fact that the AD is just going to be so strong with Urgot's Q, he can get some early damage. Though I think the Soraka armor is going to make that a pretty difficult lane for him to harass down.
And I'm still learning stuff, man. I had no idea you could just go ahead and stack stuff like that. And even though I've seen before, we've seen a lot of the shield teams, but not really with abilities. Like we've seen Shen ulting onto Udyr, stacking up all the just one massive shield to get Turtle Stance and then get the Shen shield together. But there's not really a whole lot of benefits from that. I did not know that those stacked.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check, but I'm fairly certain that's the case. And so it is kind of an interesting dynamic. All the lanes are pretty even. I don't see any serious advantage in any of them. Morgana versus Ryze should be pretty even. Morgana can push Ryze into the tower, and so that's something that you see a lot with Morgana. How safe of a lane she is. If she wants to sit back and allow it to become a free farm lane, yeah, okay, Morgana can do that. That's kind of boring.
Yeah.
But Morgana can just easily push Ryze into the tower, pick up early kills from roaming, because Ryze is going to have a difficult time pushing back. It's kind of difficult for him to push back. And so you will see that advantage. Also, Ryze, because he's kind of short range, if Morgana walks up with the shield, she can get the ultimate off to force the stun. And look at these beautiful graphics.
Oh, man, it's so pretty.
It's so sweet.
Oh, it's so pretty, man. It's just like it's let's take a magical tour through Summoner's Rift. Notice all of our grassy fields and our wonderful dirt textures. Notice all of our improved river bushes.
And
all the high sea
colors,
grass.
but we actually see they're walking up into this. We have the engage. There's the snare back. They want to get out of there. The Ryze snare is just so disruptive, and we have plenty of follow-up damage. The Q from Lee Sin trying to see if he can get anyone there, but they will back off.
Man, seeing this graphic redesign, I just want to make a postcard. Visit Scenic Summoner's Rift. Kind of something like that. We'll also get the little postcard just right there. That would be nice. But you know what? Until then, though, we got Dynamic and we got Curse shoving around near the bottom river, trying to get their poke, trying to see where everyone is, and we did see the bind. So it's gonna dissuade Dynamic from going in for any further invades. Nintendo more than content starting at Wraiths, going for the quick red, possibly a quick level 2 gank down bot. Still wondering where Curse is going to start. More than likely their own blue. St. Vicious, he can grab that real quick and just travel on up, get the red, be relatively safe jungle. No, not expecting any early ganks.
Yeah, I mean, both of the junglers are probably going to just sit back. They're both fast enough clearers that it's not really a concern. You see Nijeki coming down, throwing off the snare into the bush. Doesn't want them to be coming up for the quick gank there. We do see the flash on St. Vicious, though. Because of the strong level 1. We had seen previously with Dignitas coming up against the flashless Nocturne when he ran Exhaust, able to trap him in there. So Nijeki checking down, in this tri-bush here, make sure there was no one there. They will be safe to clear. And we actually see Lee Sin, though, starting off with the red, whereas Nocturne's starting off with the blue. So that could result in some early aggression. We don't see bottom lane taking those golems, so even though they have kind of a little bit of kill potential, they're not going to have an early advantage. But what this is going to do is, I don't know, we'll have to see. I mean, he can come up top, get a fast blue. We do have the ward here in case Nocturne was coming for that invade, and then we'll probably be trying to focus down top lane because he wants to get Jax off to an early start, and you already see he's trading damage very well with Quibelter.
Not to mention, look at St. Vicious, has not used the smite yet, waiting to use it onto the red, so we'll have... St. Vicious will have both buffs trying to head into top lane, but we see Nintendo looking for the approach, getting into the tri-bush. Now coming on around, we got the Leap Strike coming in from Zion Spartan, and the wave going down on a Pobelter. The Ignite has been lit, waiting around the tower, popping a health potion, will be surviving. St. Vicious is not too far away, though, with the double buff. The wave just barely missing. Dynamic has no idea he's there. They have an inkling, but the wave did not hit, did not connect. St. Vicious waiting for his opportunity.
Yeah, and because Pobelter is so low, he's trying to kind of bait in Zion Spartan. He wants him to just jump on him. Here we have Zion Spartan a little bit out of position, and we're going to get the red buff, but jumping onto St. Vicious. Can he get out of there? The fear is going to go off, but he's got the dodge, so he's going to be fine. They turn onto him, get some nice burst damage. He has to get out of there. Now Nintendo going down, but there's the Q. He gets the kill, and then turning onto Olaf once again. Olaf throws off the ghost. He has to get out of their retreat, but we have the first blood going down for Dynamic.
Nintendo doing work top lane, managed to get that first blood, but now Pobelter and Zion Spartan still exchanging blows, both of them under 100 health. We're getting to the danger zone top lane. One more true damage, one more leap strike can mean so much. If just get the last hit from Zion Spartan here onto Olaf. Oh, and we got the Olaf kill, courtesy of the minions. Yikes.
I didn't realize he was that low, so I don't think he realized he was that low either.
It's a neutral kill, though, so no credit going to Zion Spartan.
The issue is that it gives Zion Spartan a really early advantage. He's going to have a full level advantage.
Right.
Hopefully everything's okay with Pobelter because that's he had the farm up against the tower, so missing out on that experience. While that whole like shenanigans was going up top, I'm a little bit surprised. We've seen some aggressive warding from Elements so far. We started off with the Wraiths to know where Lee Sin's coming, where his jungling path's going to be. But while Lee Sin was up top, after he had seen him gank, he came down and dropped the ward here. And so he probably could have held off a little bit because he knew Lee Sin was up top. It's going to be going down about a minute too soon.
Yeah.
But even so, keeping good ward coverage is always good. He probably could have waited on it for a second since he already knew where Lee Sin was. But I think he just kind of wanted to be safe while doing it. And so bottom lane has been a pretty safe lane so far for both of these champions. And here's the issue, though. Jax has a nice early advantage over Pobelter. And, if Jax can be aggressive, what you want to do, Jax versus Olaf, Olaf has a little bit of damage advantage early on. But if you wait for Olaf to miss the Q, and if Olaf does miss the Q, then you jump on him as Jax, you have the stun go off, and very quickly you can pick up a kill or just trade some damage.
Nintendo coming back around. We got the stun onto Pobelter. Jax got the stun. We're going in for the further invade. Nintendo is able to connect once again with the wave, picking up the kill. Doing really good top lane for Jax. The last thing you want to do is feed the Jax or feed the Lee Sin. Top lane's looking really bad for Curse right about now. Bot lane still looking pretty even in farm. Getting pushed up. Curse is making sure that they're pushing Dynamic 2 tower, trying to deny as much farm as possible. Top actually getting some harass down on him. Pixel getting the tornadoes just where they need to be. Morgana and Rise in the mid, 45-41, also quite even. Morgana has backed. Nightjackie did decide to go back, grab 2 Doran's rings, bring that back to the mid, some extra health, some extra mana regen. Still looking to
Nintendo,
quite passively farm.
You're so dirty. Pobelter, he didn't get the ward down last time. There it goes actually in the tri-brush.
Yeah.
I think he was waiting to see if Nintendo would come out. Here he
And
comes
now he
once
is.
again, just going to chase him out of lane. And so we have such a massive advantage early on. Are they actually going to dive this? We have Zion Spartan jumping under tower, going to take a tower hit, but getting a little bit of damage off. And so he's just at such a huge advantage over Olaf right now. And there's the issue, is that Jax snowballs so well. As you start to see Jax just leaping onto Olaf, he's going to have some nice damage output. Lee Sin was recalling in the bush there, so he does get out.
But Dynamic making every opportunity to try and chunk down Pobelter as much as possible at any given opportunity. After that series of bursts, he has no choice but to keep popping health potions, to keep the sustain up in lane, to keep him remaining in lane. We also did buy the cloth armor early. Just so much harass, so much focus going down. He has no other option. He has to try now. It's the goal for Olaf now. Top lane is just flat out survive. So early on.
Yeah, and I mean, he does have a lot of kill potential. He has the ult to kind of avoid that stun from Jax. And 1v1, it's difficult. I mean, Olaf would normally have a slight advantage 1v1 at this point. But, Jax has already gotten to that point where Jax kind of takes over after a little bit. We see the Ninja Tabby on Jax, which is going to be a concern. I'm curious whether or not we'll see maybe a Wriggles out of Olaf. You usually don't, but, when you're struggling in the lane, the Wriggles can help you out very quickly. We do see a Ninja Tabby from Olaf as well. The only concern is that Jax has such a nice mix of physical and magic damage, so even with that Ninja Tabby, he's not going to be mitigating as much damage as you would like, whereas Jax, the Ninja Tabby, works out very well. But we do see Curse coming down here, going to pick up this fast dragon, and that's one thing you always like to see out of Nocturne. With the early Madredge, you can get that really quickly.
We got everyone from Curse coming down, trying to get the objective, and they will be able to secure it for themselves. Pobelter even coming down, goes back to town, grabs a Ninja Tabby, walks on down. He's like, hey, you guys could use a little bit of help with this. Let's get some gold for everybody. And on the way back, Pobelter can actually go farm some of the neutral creeps, try and catch up to Jax a little bit. Zion Spartan, for this entire time, has just been up top lane, free farming. We got a 2-level advantage over Olaf already.
The issue is he has this lane kind of frozen here for a second. As time progresses, it'll eventually push back. But for the meantime, he can just hold this lane right here for a couple of minutes, or for almost 2 minutes now. And Olaf just doesn't have the opportunity to come into lane because Jax can just chase him down at this point, pick up some kills, or force him out of lane. So Pobelter coming around, stealing some of that jungle. He needs to get out of there. Saint going to help him out a little bit. They, kind of sharing the gold there. Saint could definitely get off a gank. And so if you bait in, Jax, there's definitely that potential for the counter gank there, which is why Lee Sin is probably going to spend most of his time top, because he knows he wants to get Jax farmed. He wants to get Jax off to an early advantage. with the early red. We know that blue will be spawning shortly. We actually have the Nocturne ult, though. There it was. The Zion Spartan baited in. He does have the fear coming off. It's not going to be enough damage, and so actually the ignite and then the flash into the pounce. We have one more hit can do it, but he's turning on to Pobelter, and he's going to 2v1 them. One more leap strike. Unfortunately, he cannot do it, but still he's safe in that top lane, and they can't come onto him. We do see Lee Sin coming up here just to make sure that Nocturne isn't looping around, but we will have that blue for Rise. It did just respawn, and so right off the bat, Zion Spartan had such a huge advantage. Lee Sin is going to dive for this.
We got Nintendo. He is level 6. We do have the Dragon Kick available to us. Can we get Pobelter? Yes, we got the kick. Nintendo's got the kick onto Pobelter right following the wave. Enough damage to take him down. Nintendo with those aggressive ganks. Nijaki not too far behind, but the Tribush is warded. Dynamic will back off just in time. Nijaki will not be able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, and so we did get the nice little leap strike to Jax, get out of there. And you just see how strong that top lane is with the Lee Sin help. Jax, at this point, Jax is someone who just snowballs so quickly, and you need to have almost flawless play against Jax, which is why I don't know, more and more I'm thinking that every team needs to ban him out. And we keep on talking, and you're always like, hey, why don't they just ban Jax since he was crushing last game? I'm like, ban Jax? You've got to be kidding me. No, they'll just counter Jax. I'm like, no, actually,
who's countering Jax?
They should have banned Jax. And the thing is, you can work against Jax, and there are a number of champions that do well against Jax, and Jax, early on is weak in your team comp, and if you can take advantage of it, if you can put Jax behind, very quickly you have an easy win. It's not something that you can't handle. The only issue is the room for error against Jax is so low, and if you have any sort of slip up early on, all of a sudden it completely snowballs against you, and now we see Olaf has almost no chance in this lane now. He hasn't
had a chance for a while.
He's 40 CS behind Jax. Jax has the phage. Jax can be just so aggressive right now, and there's not a whole lot that Pobelter can do about it.
Olaf really hasn't had a chance since inception, since we got into...
And we've got great warding, too, so Nocturne can't get in. He can't come up the lane. He can't come through the jungle.
Since Lee Sin ganks very early on, Pobelter has been shut down quite hard. There's really nowhere to rebound, plus so much time gone from lane going for that dragon earlier on. Zion Spartan was able to just freeze the lane, farm up for free, 3-level advantage now. The lead just continuing to extend, and Zion Spartan may not even pressure the tower at all. He just freeze the lane, keep Pobelter there as long as possible. The longer Olaf stays in the lane, the further behind he shall get. And now that's also a signal for the rest of Dynamic to try and push the lanes, provide even more pressure. And we see Zig doing that bot lane, pushing the wave right to the tower. Dragon should be coming up in a little bit, actually.
And you see, all Pobelter needs to do, or all Jax needs to do, all Zion Spartan needs to do, is jump onto Pobelter. And Pobelter all of a sudden has to panic and throw out the ult, because otherwise he's going to die. We see Saint coming in here. We have the slow from Nintendo. He has the shield, though. He's going to be able to get out of there. So some nice damage is able to force him back. But Nijaki almost walking into Paradoxical. If Nintendo had been there, he would have had him. There's actually the snare. Nijaki very close to going down. Does not get the Q. Saint Vicious, they do have vision of him there, but they can back him out. There is the blue up, and they do ping it now. So with both Nocturne and Morgana low, they should probably come over and take this. I'm surprised that Rise isn't coming and helping them, because now they're going to have to deal with that bottom lane.
Well, think Curse's perspective for a moment. Rise, he's back mid. He's seen spotted mid. There's no way they're going to be at blue, but quite the contrary. Pink ward's going down, clearing whatever ward coverage there may be on Curse, trying to force them to an objective that they may not want to grab at a rightly time, waiting for Nijaki to come in to try and maximize it. St. Vicious takes the blue for himself just to make sure the Dynamic doesn't come around and steal it. And that's really one of those desperation tactics. Like, hey, if we don't take it, they will. It doesn't matter who on our team grabs it, just got to make sure it's grabbed for ourselves. And now Zig getting a little bit too far out. Pobelter in pursuit, dodging all of the missiles from Corki on Cop. That's quite fair amount of jukes. Good flash from Zig.
Good call to get away.
Pobelter, he's trying so hard to get back in this game, and there's not a whole lot of options for him. He's 4 levels behind Jax right now.
Yeah.
Zion Spartan is just completely running away with it. He's going to have, just so much farm, whereas Pobelter has almost none, and getting that Heart of Gold, will help him a little bit, but we'll have to see. I mean, this is like the point where any further, and Pobelter is going to drop off where he's not going to be effective in fights. And right now, he's already kind of ineffectual, but they do have this one fight. There's actually the smite, so we do keep it forward Team Dynamic, and then Zion Spartan jumping into Nijaki is going to be safe. Nijaki has to get out of there. We do see Zion pretty close to going down. The Lee Sin kick coming back in. Jax barely living, does go down finally. We have the snare. There's the 1 kill, so we have Olaf going down, Nijaki going down as well, and now Zig with the swap on the elements, and this is going to be an ace, actually, if they can pick up this Nocturne kill. Lee Sin very close to going down. Will he? Yes. So Saint Vicious picks up the 1 kill, but can Ziggs do it? He should have it. There's the 1, and with this red buff, he should be able to take down elements here, though not before Soraka can pick up that kill into Janna.
The elements, 1 more auto attack, and you shall go down. Zig got a really good boost from that last team fight. Dragon as well, huge fight for Dynamic, and that's really one of the main objectives for Dynamic, get our carries farmed. Jax has already won top lane. Now Zig, quite a few kills and assists on our resume. Let's take a look at gold. How much gold did Zig get from, how much has he got to spend? 2,800. That's a fairly large amount. Zig can buy a lot of good stuff with that kind of money. He's going to go back.
He's going to have the Brutalizer and the Glacial Shroud, so he's going to have a lot of armor, a lot of cooldown reduction. He's actually just building a straight Manamune, so that's actually a little bit surprising. It's been a while since I've seen a Manamune on, Urgot. It gives you a lot of damage, it gives you a lot of mana for spammability, but here's the thing. They already have a decent amount of damage output. When you look at Ryze and you look at Lee Sin and Jax, damage isn't their issue, which is why you can run Urgot in the comp, because you're not planning on having that auto attack damage. But what you do want out of... Wow, Urgot is just... This is really interesting. He's actually running into a Zeke's Herald. We do have the snare, though, on Paradoxical. The ult, is not on cooldown, so we actually see them being forced out of there, very close to going down. But... So he's actually, instead of going for a tanky Urgot so that he can sit there, be up in the front line, maybe take a little bit of damage off of Jax, his thought is, all right, I want to be more of a support to Jax. I can, still pick up kills, but if I do a little bit more damage, then there's a little bit more focus on me. So he's going with the Zeke's Herald as well, which is going to work so well for Jax. He can, get that farm up. And then Jax and Lee Sin, since Janna doesn't have enough gold for that Zeke's, they're going to have that early on, and that's so great for bruisers. If you can't die, to give them a little bit of attack speed, that attack, speed and lifesteal is just such a great item. So it's kind of a really interesting build. It's not one we've seen a lot on Urgot, but definitely kind of makes sense in this situation.
Can we actually check on his cooldown reduction just at the moment? I want to see how far along Zig actually is.
Oh, we have the snare, so yes, checking on it real quick.
Cooldown.
He is at
he's maxed out.
Wow,
well, we got blue buff.
Runes and masteries.
No, we got blue buff also.
Sorry,
we got blue buff, which adds additional 20% cooldown reduction onto him.
Oh, the Ionian boots. That's okay. I didn't realize he's running Ionian boots. So
we got Ionian. Well, okay, the blue buff is down now.
That actually is kind of common on.
Okay, blue buff is down. So let's check once more real quick now that we don't have the extra 20% on us.
He's still going to be at like 35 or something, 30.
Yeah, 29. So if we have, there is a longsword being built right on Zig right now. We can get another one, build that into the Brutalizer. It's another 10%, I believe, on top of that. Building finally into the Zeke's Herald. Eventually, within the next 5 minutes or so, there may be enough farm on Zig to actually go back, get the items he need, and be maxed out 40% cooldown very soon.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's just, it is kind of surprising. He's not going to be as tanky as you would generally like, but we do see Jax and Lee Sin being very aggressive in this top jungle. We have the nice ward control, so they know they're going to be safe. And, Urgot and Janna here doing some nice control bottom as well. So they've done pretty well in that bottom lane. Slight advantage over Corki. I mean, clearly Zig has all the kills, so that's, huge. But as far as farm's concerned, it's a pretty even matchup. And Corki can, generally farm against anyone.
And there's also a period of time where, despite Nintendo being very, you got to kill once again top lane Nintendo and Zion Spartan. We'll catch up on that just on a second here. We do see Nintendo holding the lane, staying in the bush, got the kick coming in on Pobelter, combo into the stun from Zion Spartan, and the Leap Strike will finish the job quite quickly. But, and actually going in for a quick jungle invade as well, just trying to take out all the creeps behind the tower, allow the lane to naturally push, deny himself all the creeps at that tower. But Paradoxical coming in, stealing the Wraiths. Nijaki knows something is up, but there's 3 members of Dynamic invading onto the cursed jungle. They have complete control on the top of the map.
We have the swap actually onto elements, so we're going to have some nice damage here. Unfortunately, with the armor and heal, it's just going to be too much, so Cop able to turn it around on them. They will be very safe there.
Pixel and Zig doing quite a good job keeping the lane presence up, and still so much farm right now on Dynamic. Zig extremely well farmed. Jax,
nice shield.
Got a wonderful shield there, trying just to get getting away from the Nijaki harass. And the lane itself, top lane, Zion Spartan just go right behind the tower, farm all the creeps. The minions will take care of the tower. Don't worry about it. Turret going down, and now we will see if Zion Spartan decides to stay in top lane, continue the pressure, continue to force Pobelter to stay top lane, or if we're going to see him start to roam, go to other lanes, assist, take those objectives. Got the Trinity Force onto Jax, Wriggles onto Lee Sin. We could start together going all for all those objectives, like Dragon, like Baron.
Yeah, and the early gold per 10 is definitely going to help Olaf out a little bit, but he is so far behind, 120 CS behind, Zion Spartan. And it's really just because of how fast Jax snowballs. And so once he was at a disadvantage, you can't even sit in lane because all he would do is die repeatedly. And it's once you're in that situation, there's no really... there's no options for you. There's no real place to go. And so Olaf is just so far behind, but that kind of support Olaf build, it is a pretty common one. We have seen it a lot. It will work very well. He can get the Shurelya's. That's going to help his team out a lot with the Morgana initiation. And then having that Randuin's, he will be pretty tanky. But here we see with that red buff, Zion Spartan is easily going to be able to pick up this kill. We have the ultimate from Pobelter. His ghost is not down, though, and Zion Spartan just easily able to zone him out. We'll get that stun, and there he goes. Another kill for Zion Spartan.
And you see Pobelter pop the ult to try and get away, and Zion Spartan's like, it's like running a marathon. It's like, hey, man, how you doing? You doing good? Waits for the ult to come off cooldown, and then we start all the burst again. The armor MR bonus is down. It can once again be CC'd. Easy, quick kill. Pobelter still just really cannot do a whole lot. But we got pings going down around Baron from Team Dynamic. Seen this very often from them. It's quite common for them to go after these early Barons.
More likely
sitting up for it.
And just so ridiculous late game.
Wow, Zion Spartan, man.
They have no response for him right now. And the issue is, they have Olaf does the early damage. They have Morgana for the snare, but they just have no means of shutting him down now. So even though, as far as Team Gold's concerned, it's pretty even, this is going to be a pretty easy Baron for them. We see Urgot pushing bottom. There's not really a whole lot they can do. We actually have the ward from Elements, but it is too late. Morgana actually already recalling. Zion Spartan actually jumping over the ward. He wants to see if he can hunt anyone down. But with that, they can push down mid. Yeah. We have Urgot, kind of trying to zone Corki a little bit down bottom. Just hold their attention there while his team is going for that Baron, and so he is going to be safe. But with that Urgot swap and with Jax, that's going to actually make him very tanky. He gets off some nice damage, actually almost taking down Corki.
Yeah, forcing Cop 2 back, and in the mid, we got Zion Spartan getting, once again, another kill onto the mid. Nijaki getting caught out a little bit too far, tries to get the ult off. We're going to see it again. The Paradoxical comes in, flash, snare, ult, not going to be able to finish. Too much damage from Dynamic right now.
Yeah, and so now with their kind of a team, they don't really have a lot of tower pushing capabilities. Ryze is weak, Urgot's weak, but they are just so strong right now, so it doesn't matter. They don't have really the best initiation, but Ryze with the flash snare, that works out perfectly fine.
It works fine. Worked out pretty well.
Bruisers like Jax, your kind of thought is you don't need initiation, you let the enemy bring the fight to you. We do have the fear going off in the Zion Spartan, but no damage coming out really. They're easily dropping this tower really quickly. Zion Spartan getting pretty low. Wants to get out of there. We actually have the flash from Cop. Unfortunately, it's not really going to affect a lot. In the meantime, Pobelter, all he can do is kind of farm up top, hopefully try and catch himself up. He will be able to get this tower. Actually, it's going to be another wave. But yes, no one's coming, so he should have time to get it if he decides. Does want to be safe, though, so might recall out of there.
Even then, Pobelter, he's off on his own in top lane. That's one less body for Curse to defend against this push from Dynamic. Baron buff still gonna be there for quite a while. We could actually get this tower. Zion Spartan may be able to get the kill along with it. Leap strike. Are we gonna see? We have the ult available to us on the Pobelter.
Pobelter's just farming because he knows that there's no options for him there. He just wants to
it
get
is
some CS.
It's more economically sound to try and farm while we're dying. Just think about that for a moment. It's ridiculous. It's insane.
Yeah, Dynamic just off to such a massive lead in this game. And it all started off with the snowball top. And the rest of the lanes were pretty even for Curse. They were able to get that early dragon, so that worked out for them. But unfortunately, they had no answer for that Jax top lane, and I think you just need to ban it out. There's so little room for error. I mean, you just have one small little gank from Lee Sin. Pobelter, yes, he kind of missed that awareness. He should have been expecting the Lee Sin gank. He needed to get off the ward, so the second kill, that kind of really set him behind. But once Jax got off to a good start, it was completely over. Like, there was nothing that Curse could do the entire rest of the game.
And once again, Dynamic at the front door of Curse, looking to take down this tier 3 in mid. There's definitely enough pressure. Ult is up on Zig. If there is a swap to be made, Zig is more than happy to oblige. And the minion wave now pushing Zion Spartan head first, going in, taking out the red turret immediately. Zig, we got the Shirelias popped, the ult gumming down onto Pobelter, is displaced, popping the ghost as well. Can Pobelter get away? One more missile shot will be able to do it. Double kill going down onto Zion Spartan, the inhibitor being focused. 2 members of Curse are down. There's not really a whole lot left to be done to defend this push. The minions shall go down pretty quick. There's popping summoners, just trying to stay alive as much as possible. The Nexus turrets being focused down, straight up tanking it. Zion Spartan and Zig doing it, no big deal, and catching more members of Curse off guard. Cop trying to get some missiles into there, but both of the towers on the Nexus are down. The Nexus being focused now, and Dynamic is taking this game with quite a huge authority. Game 1. Oh, look at that new effect on the Nexus exploding. It's fantastic.